Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today I am going to do a quick review on this LORAC palette. So this is a new palette from LORAC and this is called the Vintage Glam. I think this is their holiday palette. And just forewarned, mine might be a little bit messy because I do use it, but this is what the palette looks like. So this is for sure more of a cool tone palette. There are a little bit warmer shades, not like super warm, but just more they lean more on the warm side. I actually have some of the mattes in my crease, but I think they're more like neutral warm. So I will show you guys this eye look later on in the video. Bear with me, I don't normally do like tutorials or looks. So yeah, and I'm not a makeup artist. I just do my makeup and that's it. So most of the shades down here are matte except for this lavish shade, and then up here are like metallic shimmer or like more chunky metallic shades. So I love this palette. I saw it on the website. And I'm sorry you guys, this is called the Pro Palette Vintage Glamour. The Pro Palette Vintage Glamour. This is $29. So this is the same size as the LORAC Pro palettes. And it's got the same, it's got the same number of shades. This is the LORAC 3. It's got a very similar setup. So on the Pro palettes, the like kind of 1 through 4, you've got the matte shades on top and the more shimmer metallic on the bottom. And with this, shimmer metallic are on the top, mattes on the bottom. I literally can't say enough. I love this palette. So let me get it. Ooh. My Natasha Denona Glam palette, I really enjoy more than I thought I would. I love me some cool tone shades. I have blue eyes. I think warm tones make my eyes stand out more, but I also think that they can look really harsh. And like I said, I'm not a pro makeup artist. I do my own makeup, sometimes my sister's, and sometimes I just think that when I blend with warm shades, it just isn't super flattering. It just looks a bit too much. But this palette really made me fall in love with cool tone shades again. And I've rearranged my glam palette, so that's why it looks a little bit different, like the layout. But anyways, I have always been a huge fan of LORAC. One of my favorite setting powders is from them. One of my favorite palettes is from them, the LORAC Unzipped. I have a full backup. I'm not the type to buy backups as it is, especially for an eyeshadow palette, but I've gone through one, I'm on my second, and I have a third. So I'll show you that. This is the LORAC Unzipped, and I always thought that the formula of these palettes were different from their original Pro. I felt like these were a bit more creamy with the shimmer and metallic shades, and they kind of gave a bit more of a punch. So the shades in the LORAC Vintage Glamour remind me of the Unzipped palettes, the formula. So I hope that wasn't confusing. I just pulled out like 10 different palettes. But anyways, when I saw this and I saw that it was more cool toned, I just had to have it. And for $29, you don't need both. You might. I do. But if you don't have this and you're wanting this, pick this one up. It's $29, and that's coming from someone who's a huge Natasha Denona fan and thinks that her formula and her palettes are worth the price tag. But I'm also a huge LORAC fan, and I love their formula as well. And I think you cannot beat their new price points with the formulas that they have. I don't know how they're doing it, but thank you that they are. So I kind of just want to go in with the shades, and real quick, I'm just going back to my Natasha Denona Glam palette because this palette is really popular right now, and I feel like it's being talked about. So you've got some pink shades, more pink tone shades up here and up here in this palette, as well as like a gold, and then the more cool toned gray silver type shades. And then obviously you have some warm tone mattes or cool tone mattes, plus a couple matte shades that are thrown in there that I think pull a little bit more warm toned. And you have the same thing here in this palette. So you have your, let me get an eyeshadow brush because I got chubby little fingers and I feel like it just blocks everything. So here's your pink. Right? So you can use bubbly or chiffon. They're more pink toned. You've got a couple like more of the cool toned mauve. Like this shade leads a little bit cool tone mauve. You can pair that and get more of a pink look. You've got your silvers or your like more cool toned gray type taupe shades. Taupe is the word I'm looking for. You've got your gold shade, you've got your deeper shades, and then you've got like your smoky, you know, more silver, but not too much, not that bright silver that I just think isn't always flattering on a day-to-day basis. I keep saying it, but I love this palette. So you've got some more matte shades. You've got some like more satin. There we go. So more satin shades. That's beautiful. I haven't used that one yet. You've got like the, I guess the typical like metallics. And then you have these chunky metallic shades that just give you some shine. I love putting like one of these, this, or this, a shade like that all over my lid, putting one like this on the center for that pop. And it's an easy look. Like I don't use more than 3 to 4 shades when I use this palette. I used a lot more in my look today, but I'm not kidding. An everyday look, I'm throwing something in my crease, putting a metallic on my lid, and using one of the chunky metallics on the center of my lid, and I'm done. I'm good to go. Throw on some mascara, and I get tons of compliments, and people think I did this intricate eye look. So let me go ahead and give you guys some swatches, and then after that, I'll jump into the clip of me applying the palette. So what I'm going to do is swatch the metallic or shimmer shades on one hand or arm, and then the matte on the other. So I'll go ahead and start from here and make my way to here. The first shade is Chiffon, and this is more of that like, hopefully you guys can see the texture of these first 3 shades. They're a little bit more chunky. Now out of all 3 of those, I feel like Chiffon is a bit more smooth. So it's not as smooth as a normal metallic, but it's smoother than the other 2 chunky shades. This is a fantastic inner corner shade. That's what I use this for. Because you can see, I feel like it's a little like sheer, maybe translucent. Let me turn my lights down. Okay, hopefully that helps. So yeah, that's a fantastic inner corner shade when you don't want too much of a pop. And then I'm gonna go in, and the next one is Bubbly. Here is Bubbly. I mean, God, look at that shine. Do you see the difference? So they're definitely more of that chunky formula, but they're thin. First of all, let me just say that. That is not a thick shade. I love Natasha Denona eyeshadows, but to me, they're thicker. So her metallics, her really like nice, smooth metallic shades are a thicker formula in my opinion. This one is a little bit more thin, but it gives that beautiful shine and reflection. Okay, and then we have Sequin. So Bubbly is definitely more pink toned. Sequin is more like a cool silver almost. Really, really good. These two shades are great to pop on the center of your lid or in your inner corner, but I love them on the center of my lid. Heck, you could do it all over your lid. That would be really pretty. I'm gonna try that one day for sure. Okay, and then we're going into more of the metallic shades. So I'm gonna swatch Bordeaux, which is right here. And here's Bordeaux. This is one of my favorite shades because it's kind of like a bronzy taupe. And again, I take that shade and usually I throw sequin or bubbly on top of it. But yeah, this is beautiful. Okay, so next we're going in with this shade. This is more of the antique gold and it's called Hollywood. I feel like I'm swatching a little bit heavy, like I'm probably using more product than I need to. But you can see that's like an antique bronzy gold. Beautiful. We're gonna do Boulevard. So this is a deeper, definitely cool toned. I mean, I don't think I need to keep saying that, but this is like a deeper, maybe gunmetal silver. I'm the best swatcher. So, and I think that one is in between a metallic and a satin shade, but this is beautiful. See the dimension it gives when I turn my arm? This would be a great just like one shadow and done. After this we have Glitz. So Glitz is more of a like chocolate brown, and I think that it's more, again, mixed between a satin and a metallic. And then we have this last one right here, which is Curtain Call. Oh, that's a beautiful shade. I need to use that one. Okay, so again, that one's a little bit thinner, more of a satin. It does have some like a little bit of glitter in there. That is beautiful. So there's all of more of the like shimmer shades. I'm going to quickly swatch the matte shades for you. So I have Studio. This one may not show up very well. And I'm gonna swatch two at a time. And then we have Vintage. So these are a little bit closer to my skin tone. So I have Studio right here. And then Vintage right here. Studio I always use to set my primer with, and then Vintage is a really nice transition color for me. And then I'm gonna do Cinema right here, and then Close Up. So Cinema definitely is more like a light mauve-y tone. The palette looks, you may think differently. So there's that one. And again, that is Cinema. And then Close Up. And then we have Lavish and Sunset. Lavish is the one that I think is more of like a satin, and then Sunset. So again, it's not easy to swatch in the camera. There's Lavish and then Sunset. And then you have Vamp and Caviar. So Vamp is definitely that like chocolate brown. And then Caviar, it's a black, but it's not the blackest black. So that's very smooth. That's Vamp. Smooth that is. And then Caviar. This is decently pigmented. I think it's just meant to be a bit more smoky. So it's not like an intense black, but it definitely will work if you need to add some of that very deep shade in. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna jump into the demo, or so that you guys can see me using the palette, and then I'll kind of give you guys my final thoughts. So I'm gonna start off by priming my eyes with my Pretty Vulgar eyeshadow primer. I got this in a BoxyCharm, but I definitely really like it. Excuse this, I was messing with my skin. I know I shouldn't, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so I'm gonna take my palette, and mine's a little bit messy. I've probably already shown you guys this, but it's just because I've been using it. I'm gonna take the shade Studio on a large fluffy brush. I always set my eye primer from my crease to my brow bone. So I start the brush under the brow, my eyebrow, so that that's where most of the product is. And then I kind of brush it down into the crease, but not on the lid. And that just sets the primer for shades that I'm wanting to blend out, but leaves a more tacky base for the shades on my eyelid. I'm going to go into Vintage next. Now I'm going to take that on a fluffy blending brush. This is the Morphe M441, and I'm going to run that into my crease. So I have hooded eyes, so what I'm actually gonna do is run it all right here. And this is going to act as my transition shade. It's just going to be the base shade that I put down all over my lid. So now I'm gonna take a smaller fluffy brush. This is the Sephora Pointed Crease. So hopefully you can see the difference, and I'm going to use that to start building my crease. And I am going to take, I'm going to jump from here, which is what I used as my transition, and I'm going to go to close up because I find it's a little bit more warm toned, which matches this more. This is more cool tone. And normally I go for the more cool tone shades in this palette. This palette for the most part is more neutral to cool tone. So I'm just using windshield wiper motions, and I'm putting that in my crease. Now if you notice when I open my eye, you can't really see it. I'm going to fade it up and just keep blending up, focusing most of the color out here to give more of a lifted look. So I'm not bringing it too far in other than to blend it out. Okay, now for the fun part. I'm gonna go into this shade Bordeaux right here, and I am going to take it on a large pencil brush, and I'm gonna put it all over my lid. I use a pencil brush like this because I feel like I get a little bit more control. It still will pack on the color, but it makes sure that I don't have it all over like the hood of my eye. Okay, so there's that shade, and that's applied dry on my lid. So, I mean, I think it's beautiful. So that shade to me leans a bit more neutral, and I kind of want to add maybe some gold in. So I'm going to go into Hollywood right here on the same brush. And I'm going to just load my brush up, tap off the excess, and I am going to put that in like the outer third of my eyelid. And I want to mix it on top of this shade just so it blends better. And I like building shimmers or metallic shades on top of each other because I feel like it really can change the undertone. I mean, I just put Hollywood, which is like more of a dirty gold. I don't know. And I just put that on the outer corner, and instead of being like as gold, it mixes with the more cool toned Bordeaux shade, and I think it blends better, and I love the look. So anyways, moving on, I'm gonna go in with Bubbly, and I'm gonna take that on a smaller pencil brush. I'm gonna put that on like the center to maybe closer to the inner corner. And this is just gonna bring a lot of light. Actually, maybe we'll keep it just on the center of the lid, because I don't know if you can see the difference, how much light it's bringing to this lid compared to that one. Like the light's gonna bounce off. So the last step I do before moving on to my base is I go back in with that brush that I used for the deepest crease color, and I just run it to try to blend the matte and shimmer shades. I just really quickly do that, and then that is it. So I'll finish up my face, and then I'll come back and we'll do like my under eye and my brow bone highlight or whatever else I'm gonna do to the eye. Okay. All right, so real quick, I'm just gonna throw something on my lower lash line. I'm actually struggling today with my under eyes. Well, not today, every day. I started a retinol and it's like a lot. And I try not to get it under my eyes, but I think sometimes it does travel there, so yeah. Okay, is it just me or can you guys see the translucent powder under my eyes? I used the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. I feel like I can see it under my eyes. I also feel like it didn't like fully set. I think we need to declutter this. I don't think it's my favorite under eye setting powder. Anyways, I'm just gonna move on from that. So under my eyes, I'm going to take a mix of Vintage and Close Up, and I'm just gonna put it on my lower lash line. All right, so I kind of threw that on there, and I'm gonna take a fluffy brush that I used in my crease and just lightly blend that out. All right, so that's it for the under eyes. Now I go through and I do like my contour or bronzer, my blush, my brows, my mascara, my lips, all of that. And then I'll come back and kind of give you guys my final thoughts on the palette. All right, guys, so just to kind of sum up and end this video, obviously, if it wasn't clear, I highly recommend this palette just because I think people are going to be curious. Do I think you need both? No. Now, someone like me that has that like collector feel and really wants to be able to have different formulas in the brands that she really likes. Yeah, obviously I'm glad that I have both, but you definitely do not need both of these. If you already have the Glam palette, you probably don't need the Vintage Glamour. However, if you don't have the Glam palette, you love yourself some cool tone shades, definitely give this palette a shot. At $29, I just feel like nowadays we can't get a high-end, because I do consider LORAC like high-end. It's not luxury like this is, which I don't even think, maybe this, is she high-end or luxury? Like, I don't know. Would it be more like Tom Ford and Chanel is luxury? I don't know. Anyways, it's a great palette. And for 29 bucks, I don't think you can beat it. And you know, just look for a sale because they do sales on their website. I'm sure they have coupon codes, and just throw that on there, make it a little bit more cost effective, and you've got yourself a beautiful palette. I just can't speak more highly of it. So definitely one of my recommendations. I am loving the direction that LORAC is going in. Can we also talk about the packaging? So this is raised, like it's textured. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, compared to what their packaging typically looks like, I thought that was gorgeous. So not only is it a beautiful palette on the inside, but it's beautiful on the outside also. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure that you subscribe to tune in for some more upcoming videos. Thanks.